2. All right, hey guys, welcome back. We finally back with another episode of On Evolve. I believe this is episode 9. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I guess. But I'm joined back with Dean. We're back on the grind again. Set 2 just released literally like 3 days ago, so everyone's hyped for
Hell
that.
yeah.
Yep. But I mean, I guess besides card game stuff, anything going on with you, Dean, before we jump into stuff? It's been a little while since we last did one.
Today was a awful day. Very excited. Yeah, very excited. So as you guys know, I got destroyed in Chicago. Sorry, I top 8'd, but that's not what we wanted to be doing. So, competitive season's a little bit of a lull, and I was thinking maybe I'll go down to Peoria for Pokemon. That's my side game. We got the Pokemon cap, Thinking about maybe doing the Pokemon thing. But don't worry, today my electric car just randomly stopped working. I went to lunch and I got outside and my car had to get towed. So now I will not be going to Peoria.
That is unfortunate.
It's okay. That saved me from buying the rest of them Ride on Deck or whatever the hell I was going to play.
I guess that's like the silver lining.
Yeah, so that's what I've been doing outside of Shadowverse. I was thinking about doing Pokemon just because, I crave the heat of card games. I don't know how much you crave it. You're in Cali where you get to play all the time. Your Shadowverse has no end.
True.
However, I'm out here in Indiana and I get a weekly, so sometimes that's not enough to quench the thirst.
Understandable. Yeah. Yeah, all I've been doing is playtesting and like trying to get ready for regionals. So it's like I haven't really been doing crap outside of that. I mean, set 2 dropped, and then I went to like 2 locals after opening my case, and just been doing a lot of playtesting with Pressure as well, which has been
Nice.
Yeah.
Saw you got to win the first event. That seemed pretty hype.
Yeah, it's been pretty good so far, but yeah. But yeah, well, before we get into our locals and stuff like that, I guess we'll just talk about our set 2 release, baby. I will be the happy side, and my case was fire. I heard Dean's case wasn't too hot. I got 6 Olivia's in mine. I think he might have gotten less than 6. I'm not sure.
I'm surprised that your case was fire because we were looking at the EV on the cases. And I guess you have to high roll the Olivias because I guess this is like a little bit of a market segment too. So like you said, you got you want to talk anything else about the case other than the 6 Olivias?
6
Any
Olivia's
big hits?
Really good. I hit my U's were just Tia and Crystal Tia and the Dragoon, right? Which I don't think those are like the expensive. I think Amelia.
There are no good ones.
Yeah, well, Amelia is like 600, but there's no sold ones, right?
There are no good ones.
Yeah. But outside of like hitting all the Olivias and stuff, I hit a lot of good SLs also, but most of the SLs I'm keeping for decks that I'm playing, unfortunately.
Not Daria? You want to do that Daria?
Did I open a SL Daria? I don't remember. I might have. I have to relook at my...
I didn't.
I have to relook at my stuff. I know I got a SL Aegis because it's in my deck. And I got a SL Olivia as well. That was my 6th Olivia, which was really hype. And then some other stuff too that goes into my other decks. But like I think the big hit was definitely just hitting all the Olivias in my case. Like hitting 6 Olivias was insane. Which I guess isn't the average for everyone, I guess.
Yeah. Did I misplace a box? Like what's going on? I pulled 6 Bahamut Evos total. And then only 3 Aegis Evos because it took me my last box to get the Aegis Evo.
Oh, that was really weird about my boxes too, is that I didn't get my 3rd Alexander, which I needed for my sword deck, until literally like box 12 of like, how many are in here? 16 or something? Yeah, that's when I got my 3rd one. I think I only got maybe one more after that of Alexander. That was like the card that got shorted for me.
I pulled... That's like probably the worst one to get since Albert's a 1-1 split. Yeah, that's like the case had a lot more like 3 and 4 ofs than previous cases I felt. Than set 1. Like set 1 I watched, it's like usually you got like 5 if you got a low count, 7 if you got a high count, despite the fact that there were like more legendaries, I think. Were there
Yeah,
more?
I'm not sure, but
Were there the same amount?
you got 20 boxes though, right? Out of set one. So if it was the same amount or like barely any more, then you probably got more on average, right?
It's true.
I never actually went back to count like how many legendaries there were.
Well, I mean, you could do like quick math of Aurelia, and then you only had 2, right? You had Aurelia plus Otohime plus Evo. So if we were looking at Sword, that means you got 2 and 1, which is what we got in this one. So I guess you technically have 4 less boxes to pull. So yes, a case is cheaper, but they have worse ratios. Like across the board. Except for leaders, now you get 1 of 2 leaders instead of 2 of 12. So it makes sense that the leaders don't have value. Despite also they're nobodies. That doesn't help.
I'm waiting for my Haven leader to drop, but I don't think that comes out
I've
till
been
set
so
3.
excited. I pulled Prim and I loved it. Nothing, I've only known her for a couple days, but if anything happens to her, I'll kill everyone here and then myself. The U's though, I think have been I think it's just because the U's are so horrendously bad. Like,
yeah, the rune one is bad in general. There's not really there. I mean, like it fits in a deck, but it's not very like
none
top
of
tier
them are
meta.
good except for Kaguya. Kaguya's the only like playable. Oh,
Amelia is playable as well, and the Dragoon one is somewhat playable if you decide to play that top end.
So is Bahamut. Bahamut is playable. Dragoon is playable. I guess they're like, but they're not like Junos where it's the backbone of a deck and you play 3, right?
Yeah, it might be a combination of like, this is what I think, a combination of like most of the cards aren't like absolutely needed in the meta decks. You can get away with playing like no Kaguya, I guess. You can get away with playing no Dragoon or whatever, but you can get away with playing no Bahamut, right? It's not a core piece to the deck. For example, like last set, which was Forte, which is insanely priced still at like 140 or 150.
It's still a waifu too, right?
Yeah. I think that's what's the issue too with some of these U's on top of crap. I was going somewhere with the second part. I can't remember though. But I think that was like
it's
one of the
like playability, recognizability, and then usually needed like multiples.
Also you said it, the waifu part too. The part of this community comes from like an anime background, right? So sometimes like there's a waifu tax applied to certain cards. I think that's why Amelia is like for some reason on TCG Play right now. I think it's at $100 or something, but it has 0 sold.
I mean, Anne has the Yuri show.
But Anne is actually being bought, but if it's also not a playable
it's
card.
Like $50. Yeah. It's like $50. Yeah, it's like an unplayable card. That's the problem. Well, you say you could sleeve it. It's just doesn't do anything for any of the builds that you would want to play.
Yeah, and it's almost like its own little thing that doesn't necessarily fit in any package very nicely. It just does its own thing, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a little rough. What else is there? There's like Tia. No, there's sorry. Yeah, it's Tia.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that card's not good.
Yeah. It's like okay. But yeah.
Yeah, so it's like mostly a bunch of U's that like won't see play, and if they do, they're like one of stuck in the Evo deck. So it makes sense that because if you guys don't know, I'm pretty sure the most expensive U, he says it's Amelia at over 100, but with 0 sold listings, I'm not going to believe it. I think it's like Kaguya at like probably. $80.
Yeah,
at like $80. Which if you're looking at set 1, you had John at 80, you had Forte at 100, you had, I guess the others are $30. So
yeah. Juno shot up for a little bit, but I mean, like that shit's gonna crash so quick, especially after set 2 gets more played. It was really weird that like watching Junos go from like a like $20 card and then it randomly went up to like 60, and it's been slowly crashing since. I think it's back down to 50 or 40 at this point.
Well, isn't the same? I mean, I don't know how many of our viewers know about Weiss. Like, it's like for us, it's like we had our finger on that the entire time. It's kind of like U's feel like Weiss SPs where the actual count of them is very low. Like, right? It's especially in set 1 where there's like 7 of them total and you get 3 in a case, but a case is like $1,000 buy-in, and a lot of stores I know didn't get like reprints of cases. So
Well,
it going up is not hard. It doesn't take a lot of market movement to make a card randomly be bought out and look like it's more expensive than it is.
yeah. I guess too, I mean, prices for set one should start, I guess, going even cheaper for some of the high rarity stuff, because there was a third wave of printings, or fourth, I don't remember what we're on now. And I know all the stores got it along with their set two stuff, because a lot of stores
Wow,
here
they
also,
did?
yeah, well, stores
Oh
here,
no.
unfortunately. I don't know about you, but
Oh, our supply is looking thin. Bushi Road, please.
the struggles of living in the Midwest. Um, but yeah, is there anything else worth talking about for set two on the release? You,
Uh, I think that set two. I don't know how you feel about it fully. I feel like there's a lot of like. Maybe it's because set one is the launch of the game, but set two feels like it has a lot of garbage in it.
yeah, it's like there are good cards in it, and there's a line of certain deck archetypes slowly being built up, but it's definitely kind of like this set didn't have enough cards to like really build out anything more. So like discard dragon is like becoming a thing now. It got the tools, it got some of like the key
But
pieces, but it's not there yet. It needs like extra support even.
well, a lot of the thing is that the framework was started because you had the card with Intimidate and you
Mhm.
had like Shenlong and you had Trail of Light in set one. But you can't just introduce a new archetype with the card pool we got, is the way I feel.
Yeah, like one of the big issues with like Abyss is one of them, where like we have the cool bat stuff now, but there's not really a good payoff, right? So it's not very powerful or like sought after. It seems like they've supported some more archetypes or like some of the weaker ones, but they it feels like we need another set just to like finish it off, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, like a little bit more support. But then
Mm.
also I guess it's probably yeah, just because like there's not enough actual backbone behind some of the stuff is probably why I feel that way about some of the cards, where they're just, especially when I'm testing. I feel like I find a lot more success off of playing an older deck with like two new cards splashed in than I do like shoving most of the set two stuff in. Outside of sword is like entirely set two, but
Yeah, so like the big winners from the set two, honestly, is just like Sword, Abyss, and Haven. Those I think those are like the three biggest decks that changed completely. And then like on the side, it's like Dragon because it got like a little bit extra or built more into the archetype of discard, and it's like relatively like consistent and decent, right? Everything else I think got somewhat shafted in a way. Like they got more cool stuff, but it didn't necessarily like build more towards a specific archetype very well, or it started introducing some more pieces to something else that will come later down the line, but doesn't really work well with the tools we have now, right? At least that's what it feels like so far. I think that's
yeah,
why we see like the meta being like the three decks that got the most support or the most drastic support are like there at the top right now, and they have like all three of the decks have like wildly different decks compared to their set one counterparts. Whereas all the ones that like like Rune, Forest, and Abyss basically, or well, not Abyss because it's up there, but like the slower Abyss or the bat stuff, right? Like uh it's there, but it didn't get enough extra support to make it worthwhile to invest in, really, right?
yeah.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of it for the release. Is there anything else you want to add to it? How do you like the sleeves for the promo packs on top?
Okay. Well, I'm not the right person to ask because I am the only person on the planet probably that actually liked Prim. So I was very excited to get Prim sleeves because I don't know if those existed in Japanese. I don't think they did.
They didn't.
Maybe I could.
I think
I
they.
did they?
I don't know. I thought they did. I think,
Ami Ami's coming up now.
but I guess besides that, it's just like I don't know. I've
Uh,
personally been enjoying the release so far, at least. Uh,
uh, I like I like them, but also isn't it a little? Isn't it a little messed up? Because like, what is it in a case? You get 40 of each. Is that right?
yeah,
Isn't that messed up that you can't play a 41 card deck?
Listen, they're telling you can't play 41. 40 is what you need to be playing.
Yeah, Shadowverse side games. Kadani, no wait, not Kadani. KMR came
Mm.
into my house and told me I couldn't play a 41 card deck. Um, no, I do like them though. I think they're cool, and I'm on Ami, and I do not see Shadowverse. I do not see Prim. I don't see those. So I think those are English exclusives. Get absolutely destroyed, Japan.
I can't wait till this,
Speaking
the comment that says you're wrong, but go ahead.
speaking of, do you know what's actually insane about these leaders in the set? Not only are they who's, they're who's from the wrong set. We were looking, and both of these leaders are from a set called Dawnbreak Night Edge, and that's like booster 10 in digital. We don't have a single card from that set. And these are like random unplayable silvers and golds that we got as leaders. So I don't know how that decision ever came about.
Weird. I wonder I wonder if they ever looked at their like leader polls, because they do it for digital a lot, right? Where people can vote for the next leaders.
Bro,
So
I think
like
that
a
was before the
popularity poll.
polls. It's like old enough to be before leader polls, I'm pretty sure. But like it's still new enough to definitely not be where we're at in physical. And no, those sleeves do not exist. I just went all the way back. So those are English exclusives. Get absolutely destroyed, Japan.
Nice.
Can we get a USA chant going?
USA, USA. Oh man. All right, it's kind of it for set 2, right? We can jump off into the next topic. But
Oh yeah.
before that, listen, I'm doing this earlier. We're gonna take a minute. I'll give you guys a second. You're probably listening on your phone. You're at work or something, listening to us to ramble, or you're in your car. I need you to pull over right now and hit that subscribe button, because I need
Yeah.
more
Slam on
subscribers.
your brakes while
Yes,
driving.
right now. Yeah, you know, if you need to pull over and like run over some pedestrians on the side of the road, that's fine too. We need that subscribe button hit. Um, but yeah, honestly, if you're watching this right now, I assume you've subscribed, or if you stumbled upon this, we have amazing content, so you should check out our channel. But besides that, we can get into what happened with us for our locals. I guess you want to start off, Dean.
As far as locals, I haven't gotten to play set 2 yet. So
But you did win
for
something, right?
I
This
did win. Instead of a normal locals, we had the the championship showdown where you can win the path to purgatory, which is really funny with 8 players because they're like, yeah, we're cutting straight to top 8. It's single limb. Very cool format where like some people, it was like their first locals in a while, and they show up and they lose round 1, and then they're told, okay, you're done.
unfortunate.
Unfortunate. But yeah, I did manage to get the path to purgatory with Forest. The deck that could not beat people in Chicago managed to win the 8-man locals. So it won at least one top 8.
Beautiful.
But you know, Bushiroad's out here, and we didn't get promos for some reason. So I'll get my path to purgatory eventually. Probably like the snipe.
Oh, you still haven't got the snipe yet?
Oh no, we got the snipe, but I'm saying like
Oh,
we
I'll
had to
take a month
wait.
later. Yeah, yeah. I still
Yeah,
have like 3 snipes I have to pick up from 3 different stores, and I'm just too lazy to go to them because they're so far away from me.
like set 2, remember the set 2 promos too. We don't get the set 2 promos till November.
Oh yeah, that one
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah,
you get the
I went to locals and it was October already, and they're still handing out set 1 packs for whatever they have left over. So I want to open my SL Aria in it or whatever, the alt art Aria. I need that. I don't care. I don't play Force that much. I just need that art. It's so good. I'm sure that
yeah.
card's gonna be extra expensive too, because I think they did say that that card specifically was gonna have a lower count than all the other cards, right?
Yes, so now you can get something insane out of your promo or your entry pack, right?
Yeah, which is pretty sick.
I know it's like Yu-Gi-Oh does that with the OTS packs.
But yeah, that was your only local this weekend.
Yeah, I only get 1 locals a week. So other
Unfortunate.
than that, it was like we tested a bit of set 2, not a ton, just a little bit. And I'm sorry, I've said this in some other stuff that we made, but those day one lists. You don't pay attention to the forest one.
No,
That's
you
my
gotta
only
believe in
warning.
the white wolf. Believe.
Oh, you know, you could keep the wolf in. Maybe change the rest of the deck. It definitely needs some work.
Yeah, like it's a big gamble with that wolf. Um, as
Oh
for
yeah, you got a
me,
lot of locals.
yeah, well, I only went to two, but I for those that aren't aware, I did a ton of testing, like especially the week leading up to the release, because myself and Prescia, who is someone we've been playtesting a lot with online, we still both have our regional run to go to, and we're on set two, so we're trying to get ahead of everyone and figure out things and get like hopefully get that extra layer deep when it comes to like deck building and playing out the matches. So we've been on the crazy grind. Went to two locals this weekend. I got first at both with the same deck. Aegis was Aegis Control. It's literally the same exact list I posted for the day one Aegis or Havencraft build. So if you're interested in that, you can go check that out. I'm gonna do a separate video on it again where I'm just gonna talk a little bit more about matchups specifically and saying that I won locals, I guess, or whatever. So that video will probably come out this week as well. Um, but I've been really high on the deck, like very, very high off of that deck. The meta right now is kind of what I expected. A lot of Abyss players and Sword players. That's what I've been mostly playing against. I did hit a Dragon player. Dragon is like the worst matchup you can play against as a Haven player, but I high rolled my opponent, or more like my opponent got unlucky. Could only find one Forte during our whole match until I was able to set up lethal with Aegis. So I squeaked by a win when I probably should have lost that match, which was really scary. That's one match I still need to kind of figure out like how to play it better, on top of like what I need to change to like get a little bit more of an edge in the Dragon matchup, or at least make it feel a little bit more like a 50-50. I feel like it's literally 90% favored for Dragon and 10% favored for Haven. Especially if they see two Fortes, it just feels unwinnable. And sometimes just, yeah, it's like one of the unfortunate weaknesses of Haven. The healing power of it is just not as strong as like just taking 7 to the face over and over again. Um, but yeah, I went undefeated in both, which was really, really cool. It like obviously bumped up my confidence, but one of them I did win a box at an event. It had 13 players, which was at Project CCG. The other place was at Unrated. It was a much smaller event there. But the Project CCG one, 13 players, 4 rounds. I went 4-0 there. And yeah, my box I got too was actually pretty decent. Like I opened up was it a Surefire Bullet, an SL Soul Dealer, and like a couple other like decent legendaries. I didn't get an Olivia though, unfortunately. um, but the box, I mean, it was basically a free box or whatever the entry cost was. So it was cool to finally win a first at that locals as well. I won. This is like my second top at Unrated, and this is my first top at Project CCG. Um, there, one thing I did notice though, there was a downtick in some of the players coming because of the new set release. People either didn't have cards or they didn't qualify for regional, so they're not as invested in keeping up with the meta for set two, and they're just kind of like slowly buying a few packs and getting ready. I've talked to some of the players that didn't enter the event that day, but they were there for like Vanguard and stuff, and it was kind of all the same tune to everyone. All the Vanguard players that were hype on Shadowverse, but they still enjoy Shadowverse and they're hype on Shadowverse still. But the problem is they're just focusing on the regional season for Vanguard, because since they didn't get an invite for Shadowverse regional, they have no reason to like grind out the game as heavily. It's more of like this is the secondary game now, whereas before I felt like a lot of those players were just like, yes, we're only playing Shadowverse right now. That we're still playing Vanguard, but like Shadowverse is going to be our main thing. But because there's no competitive season for them to enter with the current meta, they feel less incentivized to build and play as quickly or get into it as quickly as someone like myself who still has a regional run to get into. So like obviously I'm grinding like day one as much as I can. So that's a little unfortunate, but I'm really glad to see that like the scene didn't completely die out. Like I said, we still had a 13-man local at Project CCG, which was a pretty good showing. Normally that place gets upwards of like 20 players or so. I feel like every time I've been there. So I'm glad it wasn't like just dead. And one thing, this store did announce that next week's local is going to be win a case tournament, or they're like giving out a case to the top cut players. So I expect that one to have a lot more players show up to that one. So it'll be interesting to see how big that tournament is going to be since they've announced the case release for that. I don't know what deck I'm going to be playing in that, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, local scene's been pretty chill so far, though. You know, I think we all kind of anticipated like there being somewhat of a downturn, right, Dean, with the regional
I
season ending
mean,
for some people when normally they would be traveling.
yeah, I mean, even I'm feeling it because, like, for those, like, I'm not a Shadowverse judge because I shotgunned the exam on like hour one. It turns out that's not the best thing to do, but I am a Weiss judge, and so I was debating on going down to Atlanta because Bushiroad made the judging program pretty good. There's also the part of me that's like, do I go play Weiss in Atlanta? Like, I don't know. Like, there's like that crazy part of me that's like, do I go just play a game to go play a game? Because yeah, the tournament season, the Vanguard players, they've got a regional coming up for their game, and it's I understand where they're coming from. It's unfortunate for us that we have the Shadowverse showdown with the monthlies, and you get the decently priced card. I mean, there's no actual real incentive behind the Path to Purgatory or whatever it's going to be next season, but
Oh, it's
it's
Leonidas.
it's Leonidas, you're right.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a cool card, but at the same time, right? It's for some people it's like they crave the bigger events, the more accolades, and when we don't have that for a lot of players until the spring, I understand where people are coming from. I still like the game. I'm still going to be showing up to every locals, but yeah, I mean, if you got a second game to play, you got a side game. This is like the off season.
Yep, pretty much. One thing I do, I guess, to note too is like because some people like are very worried about the future of the competitive scene because like technically we have nothing for 4 months. And they don't know what is going to happen in the future. I hear that chirping in the background.
Fire alarm.
um, I'm like from what I've heard through the grapevine, like obviously take this with a grain of salt. There's going to be another season that's going to start up in I believe February or not February. When's the Beast? Not
February to March, right?
Yeah, somewhere like around there. There should be a season starting then, and there should be teams from what I heard, uh, yeah, heard from or whatever. But don't take my word for it. This is just like kind of things I've heard through the grapevine from people that are somewhat trustworthy on like leaking information. So there is something to look forward to. Another thing too is they released information on when Worlds is. I think they said February. Was it February 3rd? I think.
February, yeah, it's like
Yeah. So
pretty early.
yeah. So we know for a fact Worlds is going to be only Uma Musume meta. So that'll be interesting how that turns out. Because we basically have regionals all the way up to December. Uma will be out in December, but the last regional in California, it won't be legal because it hasn't been out for 2 weeks. So we'll be going into a world where there's no regional topping. There's no regional top or big events before Worlds with that meta. So it'll be really interesting to see how Worlds turns out now that we know it's not going to be on Volume 3 or Set 3 meta. Instead, it's going to be on the Uma meta.
Yeah, Worlds is going to be pretty exciting to at least see what happens, see what actually Worlds will probably be bigger than some of the regionals we've had, though. That's like what's insane.
Yeah.
But we did have a regional this weekend. I don't know if we want to talk about that. We're in New Jersey. Abyss took the last set one meta.
Yeah.
With I think it was like 2 people brought it, and one guy got all the way to first. I'm so sorry. I need to go buy some batteries, but
it's okay. We're doomed. we'll have to make this a little shorter. As much as I love hearing the chirping. But do we have a list for the Abyss player that won? I am curious exactly what, because we in in our like playtest group, Ryan Wibberley, which was one of the guys who got second place in Toronto, and we
There's no
interviewed.
way it wasn't aggro. There's no way it's
Yeah,
that
yeah,
control
yeah.
deck.
Yeah.
That deck was
Well,
so bad.
yeah, I agree, but I'm very curious because the control deck specifically only into dragon, it was very good. Everything else, it was not as good. I don't know. I played into it a bunch,
Crazy.
and it was a rough game sometimes.
Ryan is built different. That deck had some of the worst hands I've ever seen. Don't
You
worry
know,
though. The net deck button, we have a real life net deck button on the website. Jason's Abysscraft. Congratulations, Jason, but not the one that we know. That shit is like straight aggro. This is on like double rabbit necromancer. Okay, this list is like actually just aggro.
oh, just straight up huge aggro.
Single soul conversion. That's all you need to know.
Single there better be multiple paths, right?
What?
No.
No path at all.
Oh, okay. It's just play out your entire hand and you've either won the game or lost.
This is very much 3-2 into top cut. All I gotta do is get lucky deck. This I'm sorry, Jason. That's what your deck looks like. And maybe you can like throw this shit up. Oh yeah, you can throw this shit up here if you want. You get the overlay where you can like share something, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I have it set up though. There might be something on it. Let me see. Oh, there's nothing on it right now. Hold on. Where did you DM it to me? Oh, here it is.
Yeah. This shit's wild.
Okay.
Goblin turn 1 pass.
Move to, sorry, I don't have everything set up here, so we're only gonna have this here.
This is very much preying on a low round count with a low I mean, this was a bigger event for us too. 27, right? Yeah, look at that list.
Oh yeah, this is very. Wait, it's playing Rabbit Necromancer also? That is interesting.
Oh, it is like.
Wow, okay. I wouldn't
Yeah.
expect a list like this. 3 Owl cards, 3 Dark Generals. Well, I mean, guy must have had a really good run in top 8 then. I wonder, did this guy go X2 or go X1? I don't think this guy wasn't the undefeated, right? The undefeated was Lust on Dragon, I believe.
I'm sorry, Jason. I don't know what your actual run was. You got first place, but I would not be surprised if he was an X2 in bracket. Because like this deck seems to me like turbo greed.
It's
like
it, yeah.
Single soul conversion says like you. I mean, and this isn't the wrong way to be looking at it because, well, at the end of the day, there's only like 2 games that matter in the entire tournament as long as you can get to top 8. And because there's like a lower thing, it's like 2 or 3 X2s are making like top 8 every time. And so all you have to say is, I am lucky enough to get into top cut, and all I need to do is sack 2 games after that. That's all you have to do after that. And so like a deck like this is coming into the tournament with like kind of the right mentality. It's like a super greedy mentality, but you're saying there's a low round count, and then I only have to win 2 games. So I understand the greed, but I would not play this myself. Because the problem is with like Dragon, you look at the other Dragon, double Fafnir, double Lucifer, bro. You don't have enough time to do that when like your opponent's turn 1 got 3 1-drops on board, and like they don't have soul conversions or anything else. They just got cards, and they smack down the Rabbit Necromancer, and you die.
Yeah, I'm very interested in like what these Dragon games were into this aggro abyss. Maybe
I mean, it's just Dragon, right?
Yeah.
It's a best of 1 game where you open slightly poor, and then like you turn 2 Oracle, and your opponent's already stuck like 13 damage.
Yeah. It looks like it looks like his opponent too was like teched a little bit for like aggro. I mean, like they played the random 1 of Dragon Wings, right? Maybe that's not enough.
The thing is like with 1-ofs, they're unsearchable, so like you just slightly open bad and then
Yeah,
die,
one
right?
Dragon Wings, one Con Flag. Yeah, I mean, my assumption is that they open absolute garbage to play into and to lose into the Abyss player, or like with a really heavy curve. I know. I think it was Lust said on Discord in the Shadowverse Evolve Discord that his matchup. I think it was into the Abyss. It was either the Abyss player or maybe it was the D Shift player that got fourth. It was probably the D Shift player, honestly. Um, but either way, like uh he opened
Do you
up
think?
like nothing but his top end for the first like 5 or 6 like
Well,
draws basically.
do you think? I mean, like it's how my run ended. It was like similar. But do you think the Abyss player saw this D shift player that plays one D shift with his triple executioner?
Oh dang, this guy is on 1D shift. To be fair, I played 1D shift for a while as well.
Okay, yeah,
Of
you're
course.
on single D shift, and imagine you fight this Abyss list, and then they go executioner and take the D shift.
That's pretty funny. That must have happened. Someone who knows needs to let us know. I would be so sad being that D shift player. Oh my god. Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah,
This list looks super greedy, super low to the ground, super like all in and like to end the game in turn 6 or so. I feel like, but yeah. Either way, I mean, obviously, maybe we're wrong. Congratulations, Jason, to for winning New Jersey. But yeah, that was the last set one regional of the year. So we're finally done. We can move on from that hellish meta, I guess. I don't know how many people were a fan of it.
I thought it was fine. Good entry point to the game. Every deck felt it felt. If you look at the tournament representation, every class is on the board except for Sword.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm actually surprised. What do you think stopped Sword from like doing decently well? I feel
I
like,
thought Sword was awful.
oh man, why do I
I
have? I
legit
feel like I had such a different experience with Sword than everyone else. I don't know what it
I
was.
uh I don't know. Maybe you're remembering only like a select handful of games.
I
Maybe you
mean,
didn't bring it to enough locals. I don't
that might have
actually
been
know
it.
how many locals you brought it to,
Mhm.
but no, it felt like the not only did you have like a thing that you wanted to have happen, but then you really wanted your opponent to have like certain things not happen. And it's like the only class that was like very hell-bent on your opponent having a suboptimal game against you, is the way I felt it was.
Mhm.
Because it's like Abyss is like you're slamming down cards and it's like, oh no, the game went long. Now my Cerberus is even better and I can Alucard for 12. While like Sword was like, oh no, the game went long. Here's my front guard general. If you out it, I die. Like, right?
Mhm.
It didn't feel comfortable when the game went longer than it wanted to, regardless of how like heavy you made the curve. And then if you played like aggro, you're like, please don't have Dragon Warrior, and then please don't have, and then they put down like cards that were like more inconvenient for other decks, but usually weren't backbreaking. And then it's like the backbreaking cards are still backbreaking, but now like the mediocre cards are still backbreaking as well. Because like if I'm playing Dirt, I can get back broke by like double Shenlong and my opponent having like 35 health, which
Yeah.
so can Sword. But like unlike that is like when I play Dirt, if I get Dragon Warriored early, I'm not like, oh no, I've lost. With Sword, if I get Dragon Warriored early, I might have just lost the game. So
Understandable. Yeah.
it's like I felt like I felt like my success was dependent upon my opponent having multiple like bad cards in hand. Maybe I'm like a little too down on the deck, but that's what I felt. And so I felt that it was just not worth playing.
Yeah. I wish I had an answer. It's just so weird because,
Also, all numbers don't line up. A lot of numbers just don't line up with stuff as far as like killing things without the banner.
oh yeah, that's true. Um, I don't know. I guess maybe I didn't play it enough. I got second at one qualifier with it, but unfortunately, it wasn't a qualifier that like got second and third invites. And I played it in a few locals. I won one local and then like did okay in the other ones, I guess. Um, I don't know. I thought Sword was good enough, but I guess everyone else didn't. Maybe I'm the crazy one.
I think it has good games, but I
Mhm.
just felt like there was a lot more bad ones.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I don't know, man.
It's okay.
I just like I got the high roll ones first, and then I stopped playing before the high roll ended, and so that's like
Maybe,
that's what
who
happened
knows
with me.
though? Maybe in like 2 years when we got the GOAT format for SVE where it's only set one, maybe then we'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, maybe
But the future is now,
that's
old man.
it. Yeah. Oh man. Let's see here. All right, I guess we should move on to everyone's favorite segment, Dean.
Wait, do we? Do you want to mention anything about physical or digital in Japan? Because we did have they had the biggest Shadowverse Evolve tournament in Japan. Looking forward to the growth of the game. Surely you want to at least shout out that for a second, real quick.
I feel like it, but shouldn't we hold that to the end for everything? I feel like this is the last topic we can end
Oh,
everything
okay,
on.
sure.
Yeah.
You know what? It is everyone's favorite segment. Guess that flavor text, where we take turns reading a card's flavor text to each other. It can be any type of card that's released in physical, including tokens. We decided that a while ago.
Oh no, I'm scared now that you
Basic,
said tokens. I
yeah,
forgot.
basically what we do is we read the flavor text from the digital cards because Bushiroad hates us and they don't give us flavor text on English cards. And then we get 3 lifelines to help us figure out what card it is. If you use no lifelines, then you get a straight up 4 points. But for each lifeline you use, which is what set it came out in digital, what class it's in, and what type of card it is, follower, spell, or amulet, you get a single point reduced. So, use a single lifeline, you get 3 points. Currently, we're tied up at 3 and 3 because this is literally impossible. But I might be throwing you a bone. I do have a question before I read this flavor text.
Yeah.
If this flavor text has a name at the end, do I have to say the name? The name is like
like it's a
straight up
quote.
spoiler.
Like it's a
Yes.
quote. Oh, I think if it gives it away like that, like completely, you don't read the name.
Okay, thank you. So, with that in mind, are you ready, Kit?
As ready as I will ever be. I'm so garbage at this, but go ahead. We're including set 2 stuff now, right? Because it's
We're
out.
including set 2
Okay.
stuff.
All right.
I know much more about Shadowverse than you. I'm more versed in its ways than anyone else out there, and my strategies are foolproof.
What the hell? Is that like a self quote, Dean? Is that you? You sure you didn't say that? Oh my god.
I did just say it. That's my quote now. I know much more about Shadowverse than you.
Oh god. Okay. What craft is this from?
Runecraft.
Runecraft? Oh, wait. This It has to be Daria, right? There's no way. Wait, what else? What else came out? Who else would even say Shadowverse? What the hell? It has to be Daria because she's like a dimension wish, right? Is Shadowverse a dimension? I assume it is. I don't know the lore. I played the digital. I have no idea. Oh my! I feel like I'm being gaslit and like destroyed right now.
I legitimately thought this one would be easy, but I guess you're not like me. You don't actually hit the flavor text button when a new set comes out.
I don't. Why would I ever read that crap? Oh my god. Shadowverse. Okay,
Oh, he's broken.
I am broken. All I can think is Daria. Like, I'm just gonna lock in Daria, even though it seems like it's
You're gonna
wrong.
lock in Daria.
Yeah. Tell me
You're
how
gonna
I'm
lock in
wrong.
Daria. You don't like more lifelines?
Well, okay. Let me do another. I'll do another lifeline. What type of card is it?
It's a follower.
It's a fall. Thanks. That's very much helpful. Follower? I mean, like the only one that are popping in my head. I don't even know because I don't know anything about this other character. What's that? Pascal? Or is that her name? Is that character's name? I can't remember. Is it?
But it's Pascal. That is a card in set too.
Okay, yeah, Pascal. Sun Oracle Pascal. That's the name of the card. Um, I don't think. Oh
I
my
guess my
god.
strategy is foolproof.
Okay, wait. There has. Oh, dude, why can't I think of any followers?
He's struggling.
I am struggling so bad right now. Runecraft follower. Okay, I'll lock in Pascal because like I can't
He's
think of
locking in.
anything in.
Kit, I
Tell,
really think you should have paid more attention when you looked at the magical pawn token and you
oh
knew that
my
I thought that chess was the
god.
best deck. Yeah, it's got a quote of. Do you know who Shion Otosaka is? Would that
No.
have
What's
gave
the
it
card
away?
called again? Let me look this up.
The magical pawn.
Magical. Oh, it's the token, right?
Yeah. So I'm just gonna be honest with you. If it's gonna have like a Shadowverse quote,
Oh, that
every
makes
card has a quote
sense.
from the character that plays it, which is why I didn't want to say Shion, because if you because I know you've been playing digital, if you ever saw the Shion leader, who's the girl with like the bunny ears.
I haven't seen
uh
anyone play that character
oh,
yet.
okay, so
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of spoils it because you just go, oh, I know what card it is instantly.
Oh my god.
um
Why did I should have known. I
yeah,
feel dumb now.
we got one chess card and you didn't think I was gonna
It
like
didn't
lock
it
that
okay,
in.
it didn't even say anything about chess. It wasn't like I'm gonna,
My strategies are
checkmate
foolproof.
you. Oh my god. I hate this game. Oh, whatever. It's okay. I'm gonna not be kind next week and give you a very annoying one. It's fine.
It's impossible. My Shadowverse has no end.
Oh my god. All right. Well, we're still tied. What, 3-3?
3-3.
All right.
I think set 2 those actually got memorable cards in it, so maybe I'll be able to finally get these until you keep on set 1
Yeah,
forever.
that's the strat. Just sit on set 1 forever. All right. Well, we're on to the last thing we're going to be talking about here. We had a GP that went by this past weekend that was crazy hype. It was the biggest GP to date, right? How many you say there were? Because I saw it was on Twitter, right?
2,065 players. That's like insane.
Yeah, it is. It was, if I remember correctly, it was like a 16. Was it 16 rounds? It was something ridiculous like that, or maybe
Uh,
not 16. It was definitely like 14-ish rounds or so. Because I know
it,
day one ended on round 9, I believe, and
I
then
don't know. I didn't watch it.
okay, I watched it actually, but like it was more of like just had it on the side, and then I kind of watched top 8. But I do remember like day one ending on either round 8 or round 9, and then the next day they still had like at least like 4 or 5 more rounds before they cut to top 8, which was like insane. You had like people, a lot of I think there was like people who went like I want to say like 13-3 or something, and they didn't make top 8, which is insane to me and stuff like that. um I very much hope.
Commendable records, though.
Yeah, it's really good, honestly. I think if you made day 2 at all, that's like you're already like.
Well, it's like Pokemon, right? Like I
Mhm,
know that Pokemon pays out pricing to top 32 because they have like
mhm.
1,000-man regionals now.
Yeah, I
And so like I
know
don't know how Shadowverse Evolved does
Shadowverse,
it,
they
but
pay out to top 64. It's not money, obviously, because it's Japan, but they give out a top 64 promo. So, like, sorry, there's a day 2 promo. So,
they
if you've
date pro,
made
yeah,
day
yeah.
2 promo, you get a day 2 promo. There's a top 64 promo, and then there's a top 8 promo. And along with,
Yeah,
I
so
guess, top 8 stuff. Yeah.
that's pretty good because it's
Mhm.
like, when you make day 2 in an event like that, it's pretty impressive. I mean, they already call out a lot of the room by that time. And then when you make, top 64, you said 13-3 is not top cut. That's just how it is out there. It's, you
Just be
gotta
like
you gotta
that.
play. I'm
Yeah.
sorry you bricked twice. Um yeah, the meta, from my understanding, is the Idolmaster set's a lot less polarizing than the Uma set. I know that people don't really care about Japanese as much because, it's the future for us.
Yeah.
Um
So I saw
but
the breakdown. I think it was about 40. I think it said 42% was on IMAS, And
But
the
IMAS is supposedly 3 decks.
Yeah,
That's
there's
the
actually
difference.
3 different decks in IMAS. I think the one that got played the most, and it's the one I saw the most on stream. There was a few others I saw as well. Is the Cool Aggro deck? It's literally called Cool because it's a
Cool
yeah.
aggro deck. That's not something that you say when you're salty after losing.
What did you lose to? The Cool
Cool
Aggro deck.
aggro
God damn
deck.
it! But for those unaware of IMAS, Cinderella Girls, all the groups of girls are like sectioned off into 3 different groups. One called Cool, one called Passion, one called Cute. I think
Cute.
it is. Yeah. And the aggro deck plays like all the quote unquote cool cards because Rin is like the main card, which is I forgot what it did, but it's really aggressive. But the finals for the event. Oh, and then I guess the second highest played set was Rune, I believe, right? It had to be because Kuon is
Kuon D
yeah.
shift. Yeah.
And a little spoiler alert, you might want to skip ahead a bit if you really care to watch it and if you haven't seen it. But the finals came down to IMAS, I believe it was the Cool Aggro deck versus Kuon D Shift. And Kuon pulled through, and this is the first GP won by Rune as well, which has been like a long time coming. Kuon has been out for what, like a month or two in Japan, I think.
It's been a while. It was last format for them, right?
Yeah, I think
Where
it came out like right at the end of the last format.
D shift became a good
Yeah.
card. Insane.
Yeah.
We're in the future now, boys.
Kuon deck is really wild. Like I really recommend if you're a D shift player and you want to see what's to come for you is check out some of those matches, especially the finals is pretty wild too. The deck is surprisingly very powerful. I mean, Kuon is a very good card. It summons a lot of things, and I forget like one of the cards has Storm that it summons immediately. One of the what are they called? Shimigamis or whatever.
The Shikigamis?
Yeah, one of them that it summons has like Storm, so you get some damage in immediately. Then you pull the D shift, and you have like this board of like 4 or 5 followers just coming out that one turn, and you just can end games like that. A lot of the Kuon matches were really cool to watch and seeing how they navigate because it's you still play like the same stuff. It's D shift. You have to get 15 spells into the cemetery, right?
Yeah, you gotta 10.
Oh yeah. At least, oh
So
yeah,
isn't
yeah,
the
10.
requirement?
Yeah, but Kuon requires you to have 15 to beat 0, I think, right?
Oh, Flame Destroyer 2.0.
Yeah, it's a
I
much
actually
better
haven't
Flame
read Kuon.
Destroyer.
I just know that like it's been winning, and so I assume that it's like less bad than a Flame Destroyer.
Yeah, because the big thing is, I think it's 15 to still play it for free, but when it comes into play and does all its stuff, it summons other followers with it. So like you get the tokens. Like I said, you have one where it has Storm immediately when it comes out, and I think it's like 4 power or something. I forget the exact line. So it's easier to like have lethal and not have to like find multiple followers. I feel like for at least D shift to win the game. But yeah, it's a really cool top 8. I've watched a few of the matches. I still need to like finish out like 1 or 2 of the beginning top 8 matches because I think I've only seen the grand finals and the finals before that. But yeah, if you're a D shift lover, definitely worth checking those games out because Kuon is on the way. I think when does Kuon come out? Like to set 5
Oh, it's
or
gonna be a
6?
while.
Yeah, it'll probably be about a year for us or so, right?
Yeah, so maybe put the D shifts away for a bit, but they'll come back later. So put them away, wait a bit.
Yeah, maybe pick up why it's cheap right now. Pick up some of the premium versions so you'll be ready in like 10 months from now to play
Well,
Kuon.
no, you sell it so I can buy my last one.
Oh,
And then
true.
after I on the podcast say I have picked up a D shift premium for 50 cents, then you go buy them.
Yeah,
How about that?
yeah, yeah. Please don't buy them out, please. But yeah. Was there anything else crazy going on at the event?
Oh, that picture I sent you, what format is that?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that tweet you sent me was just like if you didn't have cards, you could play. It didn't explain crap in that tweet. It just
No,
said
they didn't explain it. Okay, so I need to paint this picture for people. I have no idea what this was. They say you didn't need cards to play, but every single person has a random amalgamation of Shadowverse cards not pertaining to any one class. It's like random cards from all of the classes and a bunch of poker cards. And I don't know I don't know what game they were playing. And I need the rule set for that. If anyone was like in Japan and like actually at this event, I need the rule set where you somehow have a deck of poker cards, and I don't know if it's like each. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I,
I'm looking at the pictures from this tweet, and there is a rule sheet on the page, on not on the page, on the table, but it's both pictures of it are too blurry to even make out any words at all.
oh yeah, we need the rule set because I want to know what the poker decks are doing and how there's like Shadowverse cards at all on the board because there's like life being tracked. There's cards on the board. This format looks wild.
Yeah, it's it's definitely different. Oh man.
So I'm hoping we get some like crazy alternate formats like that they like, spice it up a bit. I know that I don't know if you know this kit fully,
Mhm.
but like right, Hearthstone. The only I mean, I've heard a lot of complaints about Shadowverse from people who actually like Hearthstone. I don't like Hearthstone personally, but I will admit that people are like, oh, well, Hearthstone has all these different game modes. They got the battlegrounds, they got the tavern brawls, right?
Mhm.
Bro, Shadowverse has the ranked button. There is no other button to play. There's like there's like two draft formats and there's like occasionally a side thing that they like immediately rotate out. I'm hoping that these GPs and stuff like in physical, we get these cool like side formats. Like whatever this is, like right. And I'm hoping that maybe we get some of that here too because I
Yeah.
think the game is fun when there's like ways to spice it up.
Yeah, I know locally here, well not too close to me. They're like both shops that were doing it were like 45 to an hour drive away from me, so I didn't go. But they were doing on release day take 8 or open 8. I don't know why I said take 8.
Oh,
They were doing
I have
open
some footage of
eights
that.
because they got the rules from Japan and they're like, okay, we'll do a that so people are encouraged to buy packs. It's a little bit more fair for everyone who didn't like buy cases day one to have full decks, which is pretty cool. I kind of wished I was able to do that because I saw it in Japan too. I didn't look into it enough, but I saw it on screen at one point when they were talking about like the future competitive events. Open 8 was going to be part of like the system of like gaining points or something towards like the championship for the next year, I think, or something like that. I have to look into it, so don't take my word for it. But it was up there as like one of the ways you can get something, and then there's like special promos you get for doing take 8 as well. I'll have to research it next time and then talk about it on the next cast. But it's really interesting that they're going to start trying to push other formats. Like I like sealed formats because I think they're very fun. Because like you pay like the $20 to enter, and you get to like mess around with like a wonky deck where you can find some random combo out of your 8 packs that you normally can't play because they're in different
Yeah,
crafts or whatever.
I play two open eights. One is under camera.
Mhm.
I'm 0-2 in that format. But that format, it's expensive. It's expensive. A lot of places don't have enough packs. I mean, like, I guess it depends on like where your local's at. I feel like here in the Midwest, a lot of like stores they get barely enough product. The product gets bought out immediately. Our locals doesn't have product. Distributors supposedly are sold out. I don't know if that's like Bushiroad or if I'm being lied to by my LGS. I don't know if it's like his source specifically where he can't get more boxes until like next month sometime.
Yeah, the second print comes out in like a month or so, but the first one
And
is already sold
so
out, I believe.
yeah, so our first print was he didn't and you had to pre-order before the game came out for this set. Like the previous ones because this is how Bushiroad runs their business. You don't like get to pre-order like 2 months before, like a month before. You pre-order like 5 months before, right? You have to already have pre-ordered Uma. You can't pre-order it anymore. Um, so my LGS was like, "Oh, we'll buy 6 boxes. We don't have popular. Well, 6 boxes is like no packs, and then they're all gone in like 5 seconds,
Hmm.
and we're already out of product. It's just like it is what it is. So if you have like a locals like that, like right, you can't just do open eight like unless you bought a case from a distributor.
Yeah, I mean, like once again, this is kind of like the SoCal like privilege. Like these stores out here, like we have a case tournament coming up. We and like a lot of stores here will buy multiple cases, but it's also because I think they sell online very heavily as well.
Yeah.
So they don't
Uh,
mind buying like 10 cases because they know they're just gonna move it online anyway.
But I will say Open 8 was a lot funnier than I thought it would be. Because you're like, oh, it's 8 packs, and you only get 7 cards in a pack or 6 cards in a pack plus an Evo card. So
Mm-hmm.
like 8 packs is not even that many cards, right? 8, 6, math hard, 54.
Mm-hmm.
No, wrong, 48. You get 48 cards, so you remove 18. Uh, but then it's like every card can get rush, which we were wondering if you can do that to a token. Can a token gain rush
I have no idea.
by flipping over an Evo orb? Because they said that was like every follower had that, so we didn't know
Yeah.
about that one.
Every
Um,
follower could Evo to like get rush, right? Do they get a stat boost? I
yeah,
forget. Or
no, they
no?
don't get stat boost. It's
Okay.
just like
Pay one to get
yeah,
rush, right?
but it was really funny when you do pull a card plus its Evo, so it's like insane. Whenever something like that happened, but I thought it was funny how Dragomancer's Rights felt like the strongest card ever. It never actually panned out, by the way. That's why I lost both times. But you have like Craig, which is draw drop on play, draw drop on Evo, and you have Dragomancer's Rights. And I get like double Dragomancer's Rights in 8 packs, and I got the Craigs, and I got the Evo for the Craig. I'm like, oh my god, dude, I see it. I see this like discard deck coming. It didn't turn out, but there's like a lot more synergy than you think. There's like a Bloodcraft card that's like if you're in Crimson, there's no way to activate Crimson, so the card actually sucks. Oh wait, there is Evoing it. But
Yeah.
right, then it draw drops on if you are Crimson end of turn, which also procs the Dragomancer's Rights. There's a lot of like small synergies there in the deck that's really cool
Yeah.
to play around with. And so yeah, Open 8, I give it a big plus. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I'm
Though
hoping
a
to
bit restrictive.
I'm hoping to do it at some stores sometime soon because it looks like a lot of fun. Also, like the big thing that put me onto it was right before this in digital. Since I started playing digital again, it was that one thing where it was like the take two, but it was like all the crafts mixed together. I don't remember what special thing that was, Dean, but you know what I'm talking about.
That like the All Stars like
Yeah,
thing,
weird
yeah,
thing.
that was
Yeah,
insane.
those decks you could like make out of take twos were just so ridiculous, and like you would find the most wacky combos. Like you're like, wait a minute, I just drafted this, I'll get this here. Now it's like I evo this for like an instant win with these cards that normally would never interact with each other because they're in two different crafts. So that was a lot of fun, which made me want to like actually do sealed in physical. Now that they have like the rules out for Open 8, so I do want to try it out because I think it's going to be really fun and really really wacky. And obviously, there's going to be some amount of luck on what you open, right? So,
Yeah, and
it,
I have some gameplay to show people. It's video footage was a little bit lower quality than what I wanted. Need to definitely work on the lighting, but gonna work on editing that, getting that out this week. We definitely talk about the cards as we play them, so you get to see a little bit what's going on. And Open 8 was like quite fast too. Like I don't know, and both Open 8 games I had like ended on turn 8 or 9, so like not turbo grindy.
nice. I think I'd rather have like the games be relatively fast, like end around eight or nine. Seems like a good spot, right?
Well, you play digital like draft half of the time, you're sitting there and like it's awful. It's like if you play digital take two, like it's not uncommon to see like turn like 14 or something appear, and you're just like, my deck does literally nothing, and then you put out like 2 6/6s, and then you go, okay, I hope this sticks on the board.
Yeah. That's true. Like that other format though, with like the All Stars or whatever, that format is so funny because it's
That
like
was format I was disgusting.
I'm like, okay, it's turn 7. I'm at max life, 20 life, and I have a board with ward. I'm dead. I've lost. Like my opponent just like OTKs me out of hand. Like, oh, that was a very interesting, weird combo interaction I've never seen. Like I did that too, where it's like, I think I was playing Rune or something, and I got the
Rune was so good.
well, I got that one follower that like evos and turns my opponent's life to 7 or something, and then I had like the followers in hand that like got cheaper on spell boost and had storm, and or no, I think it set it to 8.
Pandora?
It set it to 8, I
Pandora.
think.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Pandora.
and then I had like followers in hand that just became 0 cost from spell boost that had storm, and I would just like dump those on the field and kill them in one turn. And I was like, this is so stupid.
There was I didn't realize because I drafted spell boost a lot, and then they refused to give me spell boost literally like 8 drafts in a row, and I was getting like a little upset near the end.
Mm-hmm.
Because they refused to give me spell boost. But like you had spell boost had the most insane cards where you got like the ramp cards from Dragon, which is already insane. But you got this like old blood card that's it's a 10 mana 7/7, but you can play it as a 1 mana draw 1 spell where it goes back into your deck. And I realized that that card is every time you see it, you need to grab it because it's actually the most insane card ever in draft. Because if you've played it 4 times for the accelerate, it becomes a 7 mana summon 2 7/7 storms, heal 7. And so oh, yeah, you would just draft that and it was like infinite insights in your deck.
That's pretty funny.
And
And it
then
specifically draws
as many
spells, right? Only.
No, it would draw any card. You could
Oh, draw.
accelerate
Okay,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
as
as a
it was
spell.
a 10
Okay,
mana
yeah.
follower that you could play as a 1 mana spell that draws 1 and puts a copy of itself back in your deck. And yeah, you draft like 3 to 4 of that thing, and your draft is like actually insane. It was better than ramping. It was definitely better than ramping. And then you get the pointy head guy, Gnosis or something. He looks like the bleach dog that has the big head. Do you know who I'm
Oh yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, yeah. The guy that's like part.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. He's got like the big head or something. It's like
yeah.
Gnosis or something. And it's like every time he gets spell boosted for every increment of 5, he summons a different card to your board. I would draft him like Turbo Greed that card. And there was one game on turn 5, I had 2 8/6s that said anytime an enemy follower attacks, it gets -2 attack. And I
Jesus.
had 2 of them on board that just happened for free because I was drawing. And I also had like 0 mana spell boosted cards. But like, yeah, I hit the end turn button and like 16, 12 worth of stat shit onto my board that were floodgates. And I went, this deck's pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Oh my god.
So yeah, I love those wacky formats where just like they give you like infinite power.
Yeah. You're just like they give you like an AK-47. They're like, "Here, have fun," and you just go out there, start blasting away. Oh man. All right. I think that kind of wraps it up, though. It's been a little bit over an hour now. Got anything last minute things you want to talk about, Dean, before we wrap it up?
No, thanks for everyone who listened. Like I said, we're definitely going to try to hit people with more recorded content for set 2. I know I want to do like more match commentary videos. Definitely get some more footage out there. Hopefully, Kit can get his camera to his locals. Maybe we'll get something thrown up.
Yeah, I want to do some more stuff too, but then also like unironically, I've been really on the grind, and since I've been grinding, I've been like less thinking about content. But I will get
I
back on
understand.
that.
I was
Yeah,
there.
yeah, I can't wait to top 8 and not make it to Worlds this year, even though I told Ryan I would. So hopefully
Top
Ryan
8 is
doesn't
the
listen to this.
curse.
It is. It is. It seems
You got to just win one game, but that the problem is that one game matters more than the others.
unfortunately, yeah. So hopefully I pull through. But yeah, my regional I'm going to should be coming up pretty like this month. So at worst case scenarios, I do a little less stuff, and then after that, I start grinding really hard on the content for everyone. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up everything for us. Thank you for listening, everyone. As always, we're really thankful, and the people who do say hi and stuff in person. Um, it means a lot. It definitely does boost. What is it? My morale and keep doing this stuff, and every time we get new comments and stuff like that, we love it. It definitely keeps us motivated. I think besides that, though, I guess we'll see you guys in the next episode or the next video, whatever you go to. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all that, though. We'll see you guys later.
See ya.